Okay, good evening, everyone. I call to order the City Council regular session, November 19, 2018, 6 o'clock p.m., City Municipal Building. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janet, take the roll call, please.
Alderpersons Goodhue.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Klum.
Here.
Marty.
Here.
Canaleo.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Mayor Hilson.
Here.
Chief Laudy.
Here.
Street Superintendent Barry.
Here.
Thank you, Janet. Approval or correction of minutes for the meeting held on October 1, 2018 and October 15, 2018 regular session.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the October 1st meeting and the October 15th meeting, regular session. I'll second that.
Any questions, comments? Okay, none. Janet, take the vote, please.
Klum.
Yes.
Marty.
Yes.
Canaleo.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Goodhue.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Petitions and communications, citizen comment. Discussion of any topic brought before the council during petitions and communications.
I got one. What is officially the garbage day for this week, or do we have one?
What was the question?
When are they gonna pick up the garbage of this week because of Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
being on Thursday?
It's usually Friday.
Usually probably Friday would be my guess.
It's been Wednesday.
It's been Wednesday.
Has it?
It has been Wednesday. And I was just wondering,
On the calendar that everybody gets in their
Yeah.
tax bill.
Should say on there.
but I wasn't seeing it, so I was just asking
Okay.
the question. Because I know a lot of times what happens is people have their Thanksgiving stuff and all of a sudden they've got it all there and then it's there for a week.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
so.
look on your little calendar that you get, it should stay on there what day it would be then. Okay. Moving right along here.
I got something else.
Oh, you do? Go ahead. Okay.
I was wondering, why don't we have signs that say that we have alternate parking? Because if you're a visitor to this area, you don't know about that alternate parking, and all of a sudden you've got a warning or something on your ticket, or something on your car that's telling you, that it's there. And I was just wondering if there would be a way to maybe put a couple up, but just say that we have alternate parking from November to April.
You know, I was just asking Chief, I guess I've never paid any attention, I'm gonna look tomorrow, but are there any coming into town from the south? There's not.
No, no.
There's none coming, I checked 13, either side.
No.
There's nothing about that, it says welcome to Adams, but there's no sign. If it would just be read there. And then I also looked on M, there's nothing on M, there's nothing on North. And I'm just thinking, sometimes people need reminders if they're not looking at the internet, if they don't look at a newspaper, because there isn't a lot of, I don't think the newspaper circulation is really, really huge. And, so I was just thinking that maybe visual reminders would help it.
You know, I've seen it in other communities, now that you mentioned it,
Right.
you do see it in other communities, so,
So I just was
okay.
wondering.
Probably you could have them to the entrance south, coming north, and the north end of town coming south.
So where are you directing them?
Telling them that alternate street parking is in effect from November 15th to April 15th.
Yes,
On residential roads.
yeah,
So it just,
Okay,
yeah.
something to think about. Okay, thank you, Leanne. Okay, report of standing committees. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Bobby, could you give us a report about the fire committee about this new station and the progress?
Yeah, actually, I'll back up a little bit in regards to the planning commission. I just wanted to update that, the planning commission did meet with Fred, Hebert from Wisconsin, Development. Anyways, we walked the property off of North Avenue and, found that that property would be large enough for the 11 units that we were looking at for middle to low income. We would be working with grants and HUD and federal funding for that, and that would not occur until in 2020. So that's the thing for the planning commission. And then in regards to the fire department, they're looking at moving in the second week in December. They were already starting to do the process of painting. They had all the drywall up and all of the electric has been completed. Also that Chief Kurth was brought in as the new chief to replace Mike, which I believe that we may have mentioned that last month, but I'm not really sure because of the way we got our minutes. Also, this last meeting that we had, Nick Cleveland was nominated as the assistant fire chief to replace Kurth. And also, the fire department did receive a $5,000 grant from Allied Co-op. So that would be the main things for the fire department.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Okay, report of city officers, mayor. Well, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling, be safe and watch your weather conditions. And I would also like to remind the citizens of Adams that the winter street parking is in effect, odd and even days, and it's in effect from November 15th through April 15th. And in case there is a snow emergency, then you would not be able to park on the street at all. You'd have to find an alternate parking place. So that's about that. I would like to remind everybody that the holiday parade is coming up the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It will be November 24th. And there will be a tree lighting at the courthouse after the parade. The parade starts in the southern part of Adams, city of Adams, and it goes down Main Street to the courthouse steps and Friendship, and that's where they do the tree lighting ceremony. And I'm not positive, but I believe the parade would probably start around 4:30 p.m., but you can check the newspaper for this week and it should tell you. That's about all that I have.
Mr. Mayor, could I?
Yes.
I just want to clarify a little bit too on the alternate parking. People get confused. Whatever the date is tomorrow morning, if it's an odd day or an even day, that's the side of the street you need to be on. What's the date today anyway?
19th.
The 19th. So
After
tomorrow will be
midnight.
the 20th. You need to be parked on the even side of the street tomorrow morning.
Alternate parking also, and that's what I was just checking, and I was gonna add too, it starts at midnight,
At midnight,
and I believe it goes till
8 a.m.
8
I
a.m.
believe.
So, it's like tonight at midnight, you need to park on the even side of the street.
That's good, because there's some confusion, or quite a bit of confusion
Yes.
on that with people, so that'll clarify it. Okay, Police Chief Department update. Chief Walby?
We'd just like to thank the Polish Club for a generous donation of $300. We'll probably be looking at getting a PBT for Squad 20 with that donation. And staffing, we had hired a part-time officer back in June who was injured at another police job. He'll actually be coming back to work November 29th, so we'll have another officer to draw from starting then. And the rest of the stuff with parking has already been covered, so I won't read it again.
Okay, thank you, Chief Walby. Okay, street superintendent, department update, Mr. Barry.
Just a couple quick things. Leaf vac is now put away for the year. Snowplow equipment is all up and pretty much ready to go. Just a couple quick updates. The sanitary sewer leak out by the industrial park has been, for the most part, been taken care of. They took a little bit more than what they figured it was going to, but it has been pretty much stopped. We're gonna have to keep an eye on it. The ferric tank leak out at the treatment plant, I don't remember if we talked about it at the last council meeting, but the tank was inspected. The tank can be repaired, which is a good thing. So that's in the process of being taken care of. Probably another 3 weeks before they'll be down to do all of the repairs and get it done and taken care of. Christmas decorations were put up last week. When we put them up, we discovered that none of the outlets had any power to them. I had an electrician in there late Friday afternoon, and there's a relay controller in the panel box over in Lions Park that is bad. We're hoping the parts will be here tomorrow, so that Wednesday we turn them on Thanksgiving like we always do. That's why they're not on right now, so hopefully they'll be taken care of. We're just waiting for the part to come in, and it'll get fixed. And we've lucked out on a couple of the snows they said we were going to get, which is a good thing, but we are ready for them. So that's about what I've got.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Berry. Okay, new and unfinished business. Item number 1, 2017 fiscal year audit presentation, Johnson Block and Company Incorporated.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Jeff Osbach with Johnson Block and Company. We performed the financial audit again this year for the city. With regards to the audit itself, it is still in draft form, but I feel we will be able to get that issued here probably before Thanksgiving. We just fortunately weren't able to get it issued here by the meeting. But with regards to the presentation, I'll be going over our financial overview as we have in the past, which looks like you all have. So first off on page 1 is essentially just an overview of the content of the audit report, what makes up the actual audit report itself. So first off, you'll see will be the independent auditor's report, or our opinion letter. So we did issue an unmodified opinion again this year. After that, you'll have the financial statements themselves. So you have the government-wide financial statements along with fund financial statements. The fund financial statements are on the modified accrual basis of accounting, and the government-wide are on the full accrual. But with regards to the fund financial statements, those are probably you probably recognize those more, as that's the same basis of accounting that the city actually reports on. So you'll probably see those type of balances in your financial reports that you review. After that, you have the standard required notes to the financial statements, and then in the back of the audit report, you have some additional supplementary informational schedules like that. To go along with the audit, we were also engaged to file some of the state reports. The first being with regards to the water utility, the PSC report, annual report due to the Public Service Commission. And then the other 2 were due to the Department of Revenue. The first being the annual municipal financial report, or the Form C, and then along with the annual TIF district reports. Those have been filed as well. Page 2, also to go along with the audit, we are required to report on some internal control items, identifying any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls. It sounds sort of harsh, but that's what they're called. We did identify 1 material weakness and 1 significant deficiency. These are the same 2 that we've reported on in the past. Very common for smaller municipalities such as the city. I would say the majority of our clients have these same 2 deficiencies. So it's really nothing to be alarmed about, but it's just something we need to report on. And then also to go along with that, we provided some additional comments, recommendations, items that came up during the audit that we wanted to bring to your attention and possibly just recommend some items there. So. And then page 3 is where we get into the actual financial statements themselves, the actual financial statement highlights. The first page is beginning of the first page is sort of just a summary of the general fund's balance sheet. So a couple items I wanted to point out here. You'll notice cash and cash equivalents was about $385,000 in 17 and a zero balance in 16. The main reason there was that TIF 2 repaid its advance to the general fund in 2017. So that's why that cash account increased there. And then you also see restricted cash and cash equivalents. We split this out this year. Or actually, it's a new account this year, but we split it out on here just to show that that amount is for the debt proceeds for the fire station that were received towards the end of the year. So we just wanted to show that that amount is restricted for that purpose. And then you'll see advances to other funds, that's zero, but as I just mentioned, that's mostly due to the TIF repaying their advance. Going down to the liabilities, you notice current liabilities decrease between years. And that actually is the general fund repaying their advance to the water and sewer. So that was approximately $168,000 that advance was. So that's the majority of the difference there between years. Deferred inflows, that's actually the city's 2017 tax roll levy there. So that'll be recorded as revenue in 2018. And then the remaining amount there is fund balance, about $680,000. And you'll see there we also have a detail of what makes up that amount, the 3 different fund balance classifications that are applicable to the city. The first being non-spendable, and then restricted, and then unassigned. Specifically non-spendable is the delinquent personal property taxes receivable. That's still out there. That's technically due to the city. And then restricted includes the fire station loan proceeds, since that is restricted for that purpose, along with the CDBG program cash account that's been set up. And then the remaining amount, as I mentioned, is unassigned. And you'll see their fund balance as a percentage of next year's budget. You'll see unassigned fund balance, the $406,815 is 32% of next year's budgeted expenditures. And it's actually the city's policy to have that amount to be 25 to 30%. So it's as of year end that it actually exceeded the city's policy there. So that's in good standing there. And at the very bottom of the page is a summarized income statement, or actually essentially a summarized budget actual statement. But overall, you'll see there was a net increase in the general fund's fund balance of about $242,000 in 2017. The majority of that is the debt proceeds that I mentioned prior. So when you take that out, there was a net decrease in fund balance of about $12,000 to $13,000. So I just wanted to point that out there. Page 4 is just a summary of the other funds, fund balances, that the city's additional funds as of year end. The couple that I wanted to point out, you'll see the Burt Morris Fund that was set up in 2016. That increased considerably in 2017. The main couple reasons for that would be the actual bequests that were received. That was about $1.6 million in 2017. And then also there were some accrued land sales for the land that was received in 16. There's some accrued land sales at the end of the year for that. That was about almost $500,000 there. And then the non-major funds there, you'll notice the TIF 2 and TIF 3, their deficits are decreasing. So the city is continually to recoup those prior expenditures. And then you'll notice street maintenance fund balance increased, and then equipment purchase fund balance actually decreased there. Page 5 is actually just sort of a summary of the 2 TIF districts that during their activity during the year. So you'll see the different revenues and expenditures for both. Majority of the revenue is the increments during the year, so the 2017 increments there. And then the majority of the expenses are actually the actual debt payments, the principal and interest payments there. And then we also note the outstanding debt as of year end, 12/31/17 for both districts, along with the advance payable still outstanding there in TIF 2. And then we also show the detail there towards the middle and bottom of the page, what makes up those amounts. Page 6 is a summary of the water and sewer utility, specifically with regards to operating income and cash flows. So you'll see on the water side that water did have an operating income again this year, a little less than 2016, but pretty comparable there between years. And then you also notice that sewer did still have a deficit, or I should say an operating loss. However, it was less than 2016. The main reason, a couple of reasons there would be the new sewer rates came into effect in 2017. So that was part of it. And then also it looked like the Northern Bay billings, those increased approximately $31,000 from 16 to 17. So that was some additional operating revenue that came in. And then the utility cash flows, overall cash did increase about $92,000 in 2017. The main reason there, as I sort of mentioned already, was mostly due to the advance from the general fund. The general fund repaying their advance to the water and sewer, which was about $168,000 there. So that's probably the majority of the increase in cash there. Page 7 is just a 3-year analysis of the operating income in both water and sewer, just to have additional analysis there. As you can see, the sewer deficit is getting smaller. So page 8, we have a 5-year analysis of the general fund's expenditures. As you see, there has been some fluctuation in the different expense classifications in the past 5 years. Most of those fluctuations back in 13, 14, and 15. Past couple years, expenditures have started to get a little bit more consistent, comparable between years. A couple items I wanted to point out between 17 and 16. You'll notice the debt service line there. There's about $10,000 for principal and interest payments there. That was due to the new squad car, I believe. That was in 16, but the first payment was in 17, so that's why there was expense there. And then you'll notice general government increased about $40,000 between years. The majority of that was due to legal fees, I think, with regards to drug seizures, issues, things like that. And then in culture and recreation, that also decreased from 16 to 17. That was due to, looks like, a decrease in park wages and decrease in property maintenance at the parks and things like that. So. And then page 9 is some additional analysis between 17 and 16 general fund expenditures. This mostly just showing the actual allocation percentages between the different expense classifications. So when you take a look, give or take just a couple of percentage points, the actual classifications between years are actually pretty comparable when you take it as pieces of the pie per se. They're actually pretty comparable between years. Page 10, we have another 5-year analysis of the general fund's revenues. Unlike expenditures, revenues have actually stayed fairly consistent the past 5 years. Probably the decreases there you'll see are in the intergovernmental revenue from 13 to 15. That's mostly due to there's COPS grant in 13, and then those funds just start decreasing from 14 to 15. Zeroing out in 15, but those, other than that, revenues have actually stayed fairly consistent for the past 5 years. So, and only decreasing overall by approximately $1,500 from 17 to 16. So, very consistent there. Page 11, we have additional pie chart analysis here with regards to allocations, like the expenditures, comparing the actual allocations. They are very comparable, very consistent between years. Then page 12, we have one final 5-year analysis, and this is comparing the general obligation debt outstanding to the actual debt capacity of the city. As you'll note, from 2014 to 2016, the actual debt outstanding was decreasing. It did tick up a little bit in 2017. That's mostly due to the new fire station debt, as I mentioned previously, that was issued. Proceeds received in 2017. And you'll see that from 2015 to 2017, the actual debt limit has been increasing a little bit. The debt limit is tied directly to the equalized value of the city. It's equalized value times 5% gives you your actual debt limit. So when the equalized value increases, your debt limit increases. And so you'll see overall, the city is well within their debt capacity there with the debt outstanding each year. And at the bottom of the page there, we have a that showing the current actual debt that's out there as of 12/31/17, the original amount, the current balance, the purpose, essentially. Then the final 2 pages deal with the property taxes. Page 13 just shows the city's levy, and then the increments for TID 2 and TID 3. So 2015 would be 15 paid in 16, 16 paid in 17, 17 paid in 18. Overall, pretty comparable the past 3 years. The city's levy did increase about $30,000 from 16 to 17, but it looked like that was mostly due to the new debt, so helping to pay for the debt payments there in 2017. And then lastly, page 14 is just a pie chart there of the different jurisdictions for the 2017-2018 tax roll. The local school, the county, the city, the TIFs, and the technical college. The largest one there is the local school. The city's levy is about 18%. The TIFs increments are about 24% of the total tax roll for 17-18. That was the end of the presentation there. I wanted to thank Janet for her help during the audit. I know we were here earlier in the year, so it's been a while, but thank you for your help. And I guess I'm open for any questions or questions for me. Or
I did have a question on
Sure.
page 4, under non-major funds.
Yep.
And landfill.
Yes.
In 2017, that shows a deficit of 10,000.
Yes.
Okay. What do we put under landfill? What categorizes under?
Off the top, Janet, would you recall what gets coded to the landfill fund, expenditure-wise, or I'm just.
Oh, I know MSA's monitoring. I know the landfill monitoring, for sure. MSA. That sounds about right.
You have to check for sure on tippage, but definitely when you go monitoring, we understand that we pay our portion.
Thanks.
Yep.
I guess, Jeff,
Yes.
looking at the water and sewer, and especially the sewer, what would be your recommendation as to increases there for sewer and or water, or?
Like I there it is. Yep. Well, like let's see. 2017 operating income in the water was about 76,000. 2016 was about 80,000. Because new water and sewer rates came into effect in 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I guess are you asking for recommendations as to additional increases or?
Right, because I'm guessing 17 or 18 will be pretty compatible to 17, so therefore, seeing a overall with the sewer especially, if council should sort of think about an increase there.
Possibly, I guess we would have to see how maybe 18 is looking right now, right before year end, and see how, comparing it to year end 17, and then maybe project it out another month or something like that. But I guess that's definitely something we can look at if you're here for 18 audit here in a couple months.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's we can definitely look at that going forward and see how 18 looked compared to 17, and if there is a need to have or additional increases in rates there. But that might be a wait and see thing for next year's audit. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. But looked like the rates were the new rates in effect 17 really helped the bottom line, or helped the, as I mentioned, even though it was a deficit, it still decreased the deficit between years, or loss, I should say. So.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
hard
Thank
work.
you.
Not a problem, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Okay. Item number 2. Approve lease agreement to Lifestar Emergency Medical Services LLC.
I make a motion to approve the lease agreement to Lifestar Emergency Medical Services LLC.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments?
That's for the 1 year.
Yeah, I was gonna, are you sure you don't want something in this lease agreement guaranteeing you the lease should you extend your contract for the ambulance services?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm okay with it as it's written right now as well.
Okay. And, just cover your own interest. You go in here and make changes and fix it up a little bit, there's nothing stopping the city from kicking you out after you.
Sure.
Which I
Well,
don't-
seriously, I mean, this is business, and that's,
We
I
can
think
add
we want to be,
something.
good tenants, and we trust that you'll be a good landlord, and so I understand that, there could be problems there, and I understand what you're saying, but
okay.
I also would be okay with it is.
As long as you're okay. Yeah, as long as you're okay with
Mhm.
it. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? None? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Marty,
Yes.
Paleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Item number 3, approve municipal building cleaning contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the municipal building cleaning contract.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments?
I have a question. Do the 3 of you have liability insurance?
no. That was mentioned at a meeting and there was no insurance.
Okay. I personally feel that's an issue. Didn't the other cleaning contracts always have to be bonded and insured?
They did.
So,
Is there any discussion with city lawyer in regards to that issue? Bonding
Not that I'm aware of.
No. But
And I would imagine that you guys are covered already through insurance working here, right?
No, because they're no longer working for the city when they're fulfilling this contract.
see.
independent contractor.
Contract.
Okay.
So what would make you happy then to get this thing going so that we can have a clean building?
They need a liability contract.
We won't do it. Then it will go back to Public Works, and Public Works can look at to cleaning. So, that's fine.
I just don't think it's right that you're gonna hire 3 employees from the city to do something that the mayor has every right to say, you know what, it's part of your job, just to do it.
That would add a lot of hours to their day, though they're pretty busy doing what they're doing, and I don't think it would
That'd
be.
be a Public Works, Public Works took care of it before. And go to Public Works, then the employees would have to come up here and do it.
So then they would have the liability and everything taken care of?
It'd be no different than some working out on the street.
The city just cannot put ourselves in the situation where if one of these girls slips and busts their head open while they're cleaning the city building, they need to have insurance to cover that. I would expect that out of anybody that we contract with. Because they're employees of the city makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. They still need, I would think you almost need to be bonded to do something like that. But you definitely need liability insurance. If they plug the vacuum cleaner in and burn the building down, who's liable for it? It's like with any subcontract, you have to have liability insurance, plain and simple.
Would it make sense for us to try and bid that job out again, or what, instead of going to Public Works, is that an option?
You'd probably get the same thing that you got before. If there were people backing out, there were different situations and stuff.
You know?
We obtained four quotes.
Yeah, something
Four
like that.
quotes we received at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
One pulled out, the other was like 10. And
We
the
got
other
the
one
three,
I
was
thought there
one
was
backed out,
three.
so yeah, there was the three and one
Yeah, I
backed
think
out.
there were 3.
Yeah.
So we went out for bids already, but
Yes, Jason.
Didn't the city attorney look at the contract that was proposed on this and approve it already?
I don't have any proof of that. I can't believe that, what I seen was that she had no ethical problem with it. There was absolutely nothing in there about insurance, bonding, any of it.
Can we throw the question out to our attorney about bonding?
So if you're gonna put a question on, I'd recommend you do it to your liability insurance carrier. They could give you the advice on it and it won't cost you any money. But
I guess, motion then. To check with the liability insurance company. To see if it's, what they have to say about it before we proceed.
Suppose we table it and then check with the insurance company to see what they say, their recommendation. Correct? Okay.
Do you second that, Lois?
The only way you could do this without the three of them having liability insurance is to increase their wages, make it part of their job for the city, and then you cover them under the workman's comp and everything else. You can't subcontract with them without them having liability insurance. You can't do it. Check with all the attorneys you want, but you can't do it. Like I say, give them a raise, increase their hours, have them do it during city hour, extra for the city, you can do it that way. But you cannot do it the way that we're doing it.
So what do you do in 2 years when they say they don't want to do the contract, then we have to go back and
Then
readjust
you
their
deal with it
wages?
again.
Readjust their wages?
I wasn't suggesting doing that, I'm saying that's the
No, but I
only
mean,
way
that's
you
what
can
we
do
would
it.
have to do. We then would have to take that away. If we chose not to go that route again.
But then we'd have to look at the contract, and we'd have to redo the contracts, amend the contracts, and then go through the whole waiting process of that. Maybe we just need to table it now, until we get more information on the liability and.
Okay, that would be the thing to do, table it and find out about the liability aspect of it.
Yeah,
And
the
then
cost.
we can go from there,
And the cost.
the cost.
Cost of what?
Liability insurance.
Ain't gonna cost us a dime.
No, I'm saying in general cost, yes. If you wouldn't, if you're gonna offset, then you would have to know what that offset amount would be.
Like they may have to charge more for the cleaning
Right.
contract
To cover
to
the-
cover the liability insurance.
To get bonded or.
Or get bonded.
Well, that's all right. I had changed my motion to check for liability. I guess I'll change it to table it, and then we'll proceed from there.
I'll second that for table.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Paleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yeah.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Item number 4. Approve payment for facility improvements, pay request number 1, Spring Lake Contracting Incorporated.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Paleo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Okay, now this one. Approve MSA Professional Services Agreement Utility Project Amendment 1.
I make a motion to send that to Public Works.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Janet, motion passed. Item number 6. Approve MSA Professional Services Agreement, Pierce Street Utility Project Amendment number 1.
I make a motion that that would be sent to Public Works.
Second.
Okay, questions or comments? Janet, take the vote, please.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
No.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Okay, item number 7. Approve Chief of Police appointment of Police Patrol Sergeant Scott Schley.
I make that motion to approve Chief of Police appointment of Police Sergeant, Patrol Sergeant Scott Schley.
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments? Janet, take the vote, please.
Hold it. What are we going into closed session for?
Nothing. Dependent.
Huh?
Dependent.
No. It depends.
It depends on how it's supposed to.
Depends on the vote.
So do I vote maybe, or do I vote yes or no?
It's a yes or no.
All right.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
No.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Okay, item number 8. Approve issuance of operator license.
Make a motion to approve the issuance of operator license.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? Janet, take the vote, please.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Item number 9. Approve issuance of temporary Class B special picnic license, Polish Club New Year dinner.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Janet, take the vote, please.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Item number 10, approve payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of the bills.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments? Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Robinson,
Yes.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed. Okay. I guess there's no other business at the present time, so need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Janet, take the vote, please.
Goodhue,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Plum,
Yes.
Marty,
Yes.
Canaleo,
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Janet. Motion passed, and thank you, everyone, for being here tonight.